what I've learned from the guys in the mission ESOL classes is incredible resilience and courage.
Yeah.
I mean, that is quite staggering when you hear the stories.
Yeah.
How these guys have not just coped, but actually, come through it in a ways that would just sink me. I don't know about that.
No, I agree with you. That's exactly what I was going to say, that it's their perseverance under enormous stress, and some of their stories are, to our ears, horrific.
Yeah.
And you say, how can people stand up under such pressure and just persevering? And the ability of the human spirit to keep going is quite incredible. And they're amazing. They're so amazing, and their thankfulness as well for what the opportunities they've been offered, and that people are reaching out a hand of friendship to them when they've not experienced that.
Yeah, and I've learned a lot too. I mean, I think we all have, like the volunteers.
Definitely,
because quite apart from anything, it's just the ability to walk in other people's shoes.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
Where, you imagine me in their position, the boots on the other foot.
Yeah.
So you learn to talk with, the right pace. And use a vocabulary that's appropriate.
Yeah.
So you learn so much.
You have to learn also to take your cue from them, because you don't know where they're at. They could be fearful. They could be. So it's learning to tune in to where they're at and helping them to have friendship, to have people wanting to help them.
Yeah.
You have to learn a way of connecting with them.
Yes.
In a different way from if you were talking like we're talking now, where you click into a way of speaking.
And you're not stretched
No.
like that in any other environment.
No.
It's just very uplifting. That's the only way I can say it. At its best, it's really, really uplifting.
Definitely. I find that I've learnt probably just as much from just general chatting with them and connecting with them as I have in any other learning environment I've been in. It's not a traditional learning environment, but I've learned so much from learning about how to engage with different people in different ways.
Yeah.
And that it's really, really in a meaningful way, and not to overwhelm them, but to engage with them.
Yeah.
It's really quite incredible.
It is.
It's been an absolute privilege. So from the point of view of where God is in all of this, I really sensed being challenged sometimes on my perceptions of people, that you're not judgmental.
Right.
And it's a real challenge to feel God's mercy, God's love towards people, that you just don't know what people have experienced or what they've been through, and you can't judge people. And I think that's something that God's challenged me on, that it's a new experience. You have no idea sometimes what people have been through.
Yeah.
I think in this context particularly.
Yeah. No, I agree. I think it's like, I remember a guy saying, he just stood up and he shouted out, "We are people like you." Yeah. And it's like, it's obvious, and yet it's not. It's actually quite profound. And it's kind of like you come out of it, don't you, so aware that people are not categories. People are just folk like us who God loves.
Yeah,
so,
exactly. Yeah. And we can get caught up in a bubble of our lives and our situations, and we've no window on other people's lives of what they've been through. And they are people just like us, and they've been through incredible, difficult experiences. Yeah. And it's a challenge to be merciful and to be loving and just receive them as people.
Yeah. And also, I suppose that in the traumatic kind of circumstances that many folk that we meet have gone through, the testimonies to God in their lives, to Jesus in their lives, in some occasions is absolutely, it knocks you over, doesn't it?
It's
it really
astounding,
does.
and you just see the goodness of God in people and what they've been preserved from, which is amazing.
Yeah.
And so I trained originally as a linguist, and then I was made redundant a few years back, and I did a retraining in CELTA, which is a qualification for teaching English as another language. And initially wanted experience at using what I'd learned in a different context. And also I love God, and it was a perfect opportunity to get experience but also show the love of God.
Yeah.
And what we do with the refugees and asylum seekers is such an enormous privilege that I've got an awful lot more out of it. I've learned enormously on how to teach, but I've also gained an awful lot more than just the experience of honing my skills, if you like. Because it sounds a bit, just to hone your skills, but it's an awful lot more than that.
Oh, sure, absolutely. No, I mean, it's
also
totally right. I mean, quite apart from anything, it's what we're supposed to do, isn't it? We're supposed to get out and help if we can in any way that we feel we're gifted to do. Not that I would say I was tremendously gifted, but no, I really I do think it's a fantastic opportunity. Like you say, it's a privilege, Margot. It really is.
It is a real privilege, and we also have a lot of fun.
And
it's the people that we are teaching are just. They're like sponges. They're just so eager to learn.
Well, that's
the
great thing,
it's
isn't
a
it?
teacher's dream, if you like, that they're so
just
eager
motivated.
to learn that they pull it out of you, and it makes you want to do better for them.
Yes.
That they will learn better so that they will have the skills to survive in this country and to be the best they can be in their new lives. So it's a huge privilege.
And to see the blooming is brilliant.
Totally, yeah.
Absolutely.
And when you see them starting to thrive and even starting to laugh at things and get even the humour is a joy as well.
Absolutely.
And it brings a lot to us. Challenges our skills, but also it's a tremendous blessing because you're learning as well as them. So it's really good fun.
Good fun.
We've had some really good fun times.
Yeah, I mean, for me, it's the most important part of the week.
Me too. I look forward to it because the camaraderie with the team, with the other volunteers, but also we've got to know some of the students, and you can have fun with them as they learn, which is really such a privilege and such a joy. And it's my favourite time of the week because we have such fun together. And for them also, sometimes if they go to college, there's more pressure on them to learn and to pass a test. But for us, we want them to learn in a fun environment, and that's what I enjoy about that as well, is that you feel like you're learning together and having fun together.
And building relationships, which is amazing.
Yes. And to see them getting more confident and able to speak more freely and easily is really great. It's encouraging that you're doing something right. But it's good fun. It's good learning.